Communication is king for a reason.
Communication is king for a reason.
Communication is king for a reason.
I'm going to use a story from the real world of Darren's life as a professional detailer that I've been doing at for over 35 years. And this has to do with communication. Verbal communication is only 7% of communication. So let me share the story with you. I had a lady that called me looking to have her car detailed. And I started to go through my standard questions, which is like, okay, great. What kind of car is it? Well, it's a Volkswagen Beetle. Okay, great. What are you looking to have done? Well, I just want the inside done. I only want the interior done. Oh, and why are you only wanting the interior done? Well, you know what? My father died and the car is a disaster. He was a smoker and it's just a disaster inside. We want to get the interior done only. We're not sure how long we're going to keep the car, but we certainly need to get it cleaned up. Okay, sounds good. But just to verify, you literally only want the interior done. Yes, we only want the interior done. Okay, so just to verify again, you literally want me to do nothing with the exterior. You don't want me touching it, just focus on the interior alone. Yes, and it was at this point, approximately, that things started to go south. Let me explain. In case you're wondering, spoiler alert, yes, I did get the job. And yes, you're going to want to hear the conclusion of this job. So she started to chuckle and said, I just want to get a price and get it done. Like, I don't understand why you're asking me so many questions. Whoops, wrong phone. Okay, when she's on the phone, this is her over here on this side. This is me on this side. So she's over here and she starts chuckling, kind of with this, indignant tonality to her voice, which is like, dude, I'm trying to give you some work here. I just want the interior done. Why are you asking me so many damn questions? And trust me, it's a balance act. We as detailers, we need to ask enough questions. And when I say detailers, I mean mobile detailers, because we're not there to see the car in person. Therefore, we've got to assess the car the best we can through strategic questions. So here I am attempting to do that while simultaneously not trying to overwhelm the lady's brain, but I still need enough information so I can deliver the most accurate price and still remain competitive. So that's me asking enough questions. But now her, which is she oversimplifies it, which pretty much everyone that calls you will, because they just don't understand detailing. So she now goes into her chuckling, condescending kind of voice, which is, why are you asking me so many questions? I just want to get the car detailed. Me over here trying to be diplomatic. It's like, yes, I understand that, but I just want to make sure that I'm clear on what your expectations are. She says, yes, I just want the interior done. I said, okay, based on your description, because I had already asked her a few questions prior to that, she already delivered some useful information to me, which is her dad's a pig, the car's a disaster inside, they only want the interior done, he was also a smoker, hasn't been touched or ever detailed, and the car is about 8 years old. And it's like, okay, that's a lot of information. I know in many ways what I'm rolling into. So at this point, I gave her a price. I don't remember exactly how much it was. It was probably $250 because I remember something she said at the end, which I will also tell you when I get to that point. So it was at least $200. It was probably $250, which in your part of the world might seem like a lot. Now remember, this was over 10 years ago, so we have this thing called inflation. So if I was to touch that car today, it would be at least, well, probably be $350 because it was pretty bad. So I said, okay, I'm going to charge you, let's just say it was $250. And she agreed to it. She goes, okay, sounds good. I set the appointment with her. I rolled up. It was pretty much as I expected. And by the way, this is before we had smartphones. We couldn't text pictures back and forth. So literally I was limited. You, on the other hand, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, which I'm not a huge fan of like, oh, can you take a few pictures of it so I know what I'm dealing with, which is a video for another time. Point is, I showed up, did the car, if I recall, I spent approximately 2.5 hours on the interior alone. It was a Volkswagen Beetle. It's time. I'm finished. I do my own final inspection. It's good to go. I call her out. She comes out and immediately it's like, well, wait, what do you mean you're done? I said, well, I'm done with the interior. Come take a look. And she goes, well, aren't you going to wash it? And I'm like, okay, did I just enter the Twilight Zone? It's like, no. She goes, well, what do you mean you're not going to wash it? Like, I said, well, because you were very specific. Like you said, just the interior. And in fact, I clarified for you when I said, so you literally do not want me to touch the exterior. She goes, and she said, yeah, but I didn't mean not wash it. And I said, wow, okay. So I'm not sure what part of you literally don't want me to touch the exterior does not include washing it, because I would have to touch the exterior in order to wash it. So I'm telling her this and she goes, oh, so you're telling me that you're going to take my money and you're okay with just doing the interior and not washing it, and you're okay with that? And I said, well, based on our conversation, yeah, I am okay with that, because not only did I ask you specifically what you wanted done, I clarified it, and then I even came in for a third time to be very specific and said, so you literally don't want me touching the exterior at all. And you even began to chuckle and were annoyed because I was asking you so many questions, and yet here we are. So how ironic is that? So am I okay leaving and taking your money because I delivered an excellent interior detailing job? Yes, I am. And she says, you know what? I'm really tired of people just because I live in this area, which is Orange Acres. And if you're familiar with Orange County, California, you will know that that's a affluent area of Orange County in the northern, I would call it the northeast part of Orange County. People or their homes have big property in it, and it's affluent. She goes, and so that was part of her rationalization, which she thought I was trying to get one over on her because she lives in an area of affluence. And she just said that. I'm so tired of every vendor just throwing out $200 price tag every time they want to come out and do something to my house, and now you doing something to my car, which I then responded, you know what? I don't base my prices on your zip code or where you live or how much affluence you have. I base my prices based on how much time and effort it's going to take me and the degree of quality that I deliver as a detailer. That's how I base my prices. So once again, yes, I'm perfectly okay getting paid for what I quote you, doing for what I quote you, and being okay not washing your car. Now, I can promise you that if you were to rewind the clock, let's say 5 to 10 years previous to that, I would have catered to her. I would have socked it up and said, oh yeah, you know what, this thing, customers are always right. Well, I don't subscribe to that because customers aren't always right. And sometimes they're just wrong. And in this moment, I would say that this lady was wrong. And you know the reasons I think she was wrong. So yes, it sucks being a beginner. You have to go through a painful learning curve, but that painful learning curve, hopefully with some of these videos, can be less painful for you rather than more painful for you. Stuff that I wish I could go back in time and tell my younger self, my more inexperienced self, like, hey, Darren, guess what? I made a crap load of mistakes. You, on the other hand, don't have to make the same mistakes that I made. So let me impart a little bit of my wisdom that I learned along the way so that you can fast forward or speed up your learning curve, and it will now be a learning curve that is less painful. How about that? Okay, if you gain some value in the information that I delivered to you today, give it a thumbs up on the way out. More precisely, maybe if you are a beginner, in the comments below, give us an example of some like newbie mistake that you made that you kind of had to learn the hard way. I would love to hear what those are. With that, I'll see you in the next video.